for the most part. Um, and to use a tariff to elicit immigration policies is not, it's not hitting it this way, you know. With the China thing, it was right. They were making everything. We were making nothing. They were charging us tariffs. We weren't charging any tariffs. They were taking our intellectual information. We weren't getting any of theirs. And so that was more of an eye to an eye, tooth for tooth. But when you're hitting a country with more tariffs on their products because we want them to be more conscientious in their immigration policies and practices, that's not eye for an eye. That's two different things. So I'm not that crazy about that particular solution that the Trumpster did because it's not a direct hit like with China. India India is a different story because India had a preferred status. Now, hey, they become a big boy, and hey, why should we give you a special privilege when you're up and running already, right? That special privilege was for you to get out of where you were 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Now you're up and running. So why should you get the discount or the privilege? No. So I agree with that. That should have been done a while ago. It seems like Trump's got to read into these things and say, "Hey, hold on, this is not good. This is antiquated. Let's get rid of it." So that India thing is just rectifying something that should have been taken care of a long time ago, because India is not a little it's not a little country. They got a lot of people and they're getting pretty big in regards to uh, being industrialized. So basically, the only thing I have a problem with is basically the Mexico thing. I would think that you could pull another lever in regards to this immigration crisis, where we get all these people from not even Mexico, from Guatemala, El Salvador, Nicaragua, probably even Colombia, because Colombians go through those countries on the way up. Venezuelans, I wouldn't be surprised. Get some Venezuelans in there. So you got Colombians, you got Venezuelans, you got Nicaraguans, you have Guatemalans, you got El Salvadorians coming up through Mexico, and Mexico's like, okay, yeah, just stay in line, and you can just go through, and you don't bother us, we won't bother you. And Trump's like, no, this isn't working. We got 1,000 people come through each day. It's baloney. Mexico's not doing what they need to do because the Mexico's president was bought by the cartel and the drug cartel, and take money, you become a bad apple. So this is just a way for Trump to kind of stop the new president around and put some pressure on him, which I don't mind. That's a good idea. But the tariff, um, I think there's a better answer to that particular problem. Um, I don't know what other intricacies that we have with Mexico, but that wall's got to go up, and have to maybe bring more troops down or whatever the case may be. I don't know, but in regards to hitting Mexico with tariffs for an immigration problem, I don't, I don't, I don't like that. I think that solution could have been a lot better. It's not the A solution. It's more like the uh, D or E or F solution. I think there's better solutions than that. Hopefully, he'll come up with something better. But he really stuck his foot in the door, and hopefully, he's not going to jack up the tariffs to 25%. Not that I'm in love with Mexico. I'm not in love with Mexico at all. However, uh, you might be affecting some of the companies we have in this country because they have this like subsidiaries in Mexico, or these affiliations with Mexico, so it can have a negative effect to the corporations in this country, which I'm sure Trump doesn't want that to happen. So I would, I don't know if Mexico buys any of our military arms, or we're giving them any type of aid or something to that effect, but I would pull those strings before I pull the string of the tariff situation. So I expect that Trump is going to start pulling these tariffs ultimatums to everybody. It seems like it's a pet he likes to stroke, and it's like his new toy, and you got to be pretty careful with that. I don't mind tariffs for the most part because what it actually does do for the, for in some part, it kind of, well, I'll give you an example. There was a company there was a manufacturer. They were having all their manufacturing in China. So they decided, and I forget the name of the company. It's a fairly large company. So they decided to move their manufacturing to Mexico. Well, lo and behold, now they have a 5%. Well, coming pretty soon, they have a 5% tariff on the products shipped from Mexico. So then people go, oh no, wow, no, this is terrible. You're going from one place and you go to another place, and you're getting tariffed over there too. Oh boy, you can't manufacture in China now, and you can't even do it in Mexico. What are we gonna do? Well, you'll never get tariffed if you make the products in the USA. So that's kind of the old answer that Trump's trying to get you to do, trying to say, well, no, hold on, I can't go to China, I can't go to Mexico. What's another? Maybe I don't know, Taiwan and maybe Vietnam, right? I don't know what other countries are making a bunch of stuff. Um, Maybe Malaysia, put a bunch of tariffs on them. So then you're just slowly maneuvering somebody like a maze to get the cheese. The cheese is then manufactured in the United States. So until you pick that cheese, you might have to deal with some tariffs. But that's a choice you're going to make. Is 5% too much? Is that 5% increase in your products? Is that going to make your product too costly? So, Mexico hasn't bowed down to the Trump's deal, right? China neither. But you know what? That's not a big deal to us because we're losing all the time. See, that's the thing. When you're losing, you don't care if you stop the game because the way the game is going, you're continuously going to lose. So hey, what do I lose if I stop playing the game? Actually, I'm pretty happy because I was losing anyway, so let me get out and stop and play this game. And and a lot of it comes back to the crooked politicians when Trump says we don't know how to negotiate, and I say no, we do know how to negotiate. We just know how to negotiate for ourselves, individual, right? When you have a Nancy Pelosi or wherever we go, Hillary Clinton, whatever the person might be, and they're negotiating on behalf. Kerry, right? They're negotiating on behalf. They're not negotiating on behalf. They're negotiating on their own behalf, and they don't care if they sell us, a a bum deal. They don't care. As long as they got their deal, right? Because they're going into these negotiations saying to themselves, man, what can I get out of this deal? Just like when Barack Obama was negotiating with these health insurance companies. I mean, come on. That was not a level negotiation process. That was a bunch of baloney. A bunch of baloney. I mean, the insurance companies, I knew they were going to just beat the heck out of Obama's team and Obama's. No way. You got, you got um, professional insurance companies that know the ins and outs of insurance, and they're going to go against some bureaucrats that have very little information, very little knowledge regarding the health industries. Premiums and co-pays and existing conditions and all the things that they have in there. It's complicated. A bureaucrat is not going to have no idea. I mean, they might have a little bit of an idea, but their idea is elementary compared to the master's degree, PhD that these insurance company executives have. I mean, they lose every time. It's like me going against Einstein and with regards to physics. I know a little bit about physics, but yeah, I don't know nothing when it comes to quantum mechanics. So Einstein's going to win every time. And that's what happened with the insurance companies versus Obama's administration and insurance gurus, bureaucrats. So that's how it goes. I think Trump's doing the right thing for the most part, beating up on China a little bit, smacking them around. They got too complacent and too settled into that fine recliner. So we're going to try to rock that recliner a little bit so they're going to be a little scared and not too comfortable. Mexico, hey, that this is just a way to hurt them financially because we're getting hit with this immigration jazz. And with India, that's got nothing to do with anything. That's just readjusting something that should have been done a long time ago. Who's next? Man, it could be almost any other country. I would think. Man, it could be Iran. I don't know. So Venezuela's done. Um, Maybe Russia. I don't know. Whoever is up Trump's dress is going to get the old fart, and we'll see. But yeah, it's going to keep on going. It's going to keep going. It's going to keep on banging away. He likes his new toy, his tariff toy. He's going to use it quite a bit. And basically, he didn't even care if it's negotiated. He's like, okay, great. Don't negotiate with me. Not a problem. And we'll just hit you with tariffs, and we'll get tariffs, and the tariff will come in, and it'll be a counter to the deficit. And of course, Americans going to pay for that. But then, hey, that's their decision to buy that, right? If I go into Alibaba and that $7 shirt turned into $14 or $13 or whatever the case may be, and I still buy it, well, hey, that's $6 I paid extra that from 13 to 7. It's going to go right to the coffers of the United States, hopefully, and get some of the off balance items that we have on our budget. And it's going to inflict a little bit of pain in the countries that are being tariffed because their goods are not going to look so well because hey, price is a big consideration when you're purchasing things. I mean, what fine brands does Mexico have? What fine brands does China have? I mean, Yahweh. I don't even like their phones. I've had a couple Yahwehs, and I didn't like those phones at all. My first smartphone was a Yahweh, and I hated that stupid thing. It looked like junk. Then I had another Yahweh a few years later, and I couldn't hear the phone when it rang. And when I heard, and even the speaker was bad on it. I gave it to somebody free. But yeah, take it. Cost me like, I don't know, $100, something like that.